I'm gonna forever change the way you see Stardew Valley for the worse. Get ready. One of the slime eggs you can get is 1 pixel higher than the other ones. I know, I'm a lot of fun at parties, but did you also know that the maximum amount of eggs you can get at the spring egg hunt in year 1 is 18? And yes, in case you were wondering, there are lots more out of bounds, and using a no-clip mod, you can just walk out to them and pick them up like normal eggs. Back to festivals again. During festivals, there are various changes that are made to the map, like for whatever reason, things are just slightly out of alignment, and it really weirds me out for some reason, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, one more festival fact, I promise you. If you head on over to the Egg Festival, Flower Dance, Spirits Eve, or Festival of Ice, you can get special dialogue from the wizard. The Egg Festival is, and what about raw lizard eggs sprinkled with blackened marrow? The Flower Dance is, you shouldn't be up here. And yeah, you think, buddy, I literally walked through a wall to get up here. You're real observant. Spirits Eve also has 2 lines, starting with, the affairs of mundane folk matter little to me, but the elementals like a chance to see you up close. And it was for them I built this silly maze. And, okay, off topic, but this maze is kinda mid. Honestly, I expected a bit more from you, sorry wizard. Some removed items include all of these weapons that are spouse exclusive and food items. Looking closely at the food items, I can see that it's mainly food items like burger, some ham, bacon, standard looking pieces of meat, but also a milkshake for some reason. It makes sense that all the meat items got removed since there was initially going to be butchering in this game, but I think it would have been kind of weird if you like wholesomely raised all these animals, you know, you pet them every day, you fed them, you gave them cute names, and then you brutally murdered them for meat. I don't think that would have fit the game at all. If you divorce someone and then get married to someone else, they won't show up to your marriage to someone else. Meaning if you marry and then eventually divorce the entire town, that means not a whole lot of people will show up. Relatable. A rock on the map near the dock makes noise when you click on it. Its name is also the Lonely Rock. If you interact with the pig at the traveling cart, it oinks at you, and if you interact with the camel in the desert, it like bounces a little bit. If you aren't really digging the look of plain sea urchins, you can put hats on them to freshen them up a little bit. Rare Crow number 1 is a reference to Turnip Head from Howl's Moving Castle, a super beautifully animated Studio Ghibli film that you should definitely watch. Certain features that might be important to you were only actually added very recently or weren't around when the game first came out. Like if you wanted to move your bed around, you couldn't do that until the 1.5 update, or if you wanted to be bald, you'd have to go all the way back to version 1.1. There are 18 females and 14 females in Stardew Valley, 6 of each gender being romanceable. Various other NPCs exist in the game but cannot be given gifts or have different text boxes than normal or real quote-unquote NPCs. These NPCs include Birdie, who gives you a quest to get some golden walnuts, the Bouncer that keeps you at the casino until you've completed a quest from Mr. Key, Gil, who gives you the Monster Slayer quest rewards, the Governor, who you can meet at the Luau and Poison, Grandpa, who you can speak to at the start of year 3, and in the opening cutscene, Gunther, who you donate artifacts to at the library, the Henchman, who prevents you from reaching the witch's house, Marlin, who sells you weapons and shows up at a festival or two, Morris, who you can buy the Jojo Mart upgrades from, and Mr. Key, who is all over the game in various locations. And finally, Professor Snail, who is trapped in this cave and lets you get some golden walnuts. Off topic, but if you're interested in seeing Morris become a fully fledged character, the Stardew Valley Expanded mod actually lets you do that. The Community Center has a total of 6 rooms with 30 different bundles, ranging from the animal bundle all the way over to the ocean fish bundle. The campfire outside of Linus's tent can actually be turned on and off with a right click. However you do put it out, you are a monster, do keep in mind. The trucker hat is a reference to the TV show Regular Show, to be precise, the 17th episode in the 3rd season. This statue seen on level 120 of the mines can actually be won at the crane minigame in the movie theater, but only in fall. In Elliot's cabin, you can actually play the piano, and if you play the specific combination 2 4 3 2 3 4 2 1, you can get a cool little reaction from Elliot. If you want to do as much damage as possible, the most damaging melee weapon in the entire game is a dagger with very high crit chance, the bunch of crit upgrades, a warrior ring, the bug killer enchant, and you can do unbelievably high damage. I installed a mod that let me put on a ton of rings and managed to hit a crit of over 20,000 damage. Placing a wicked statue in the slime hutch prevents the witch from visiting it overnight. Sam hates every single type of mayonnaise except for dino mayonnaise for some reason. This piece of bread is an error item when an X and B value doesn't actually exist in the game. If Dust Sprite breaks rocks, the player will actually get mining XP from them. In multiplayer, even if a player isn't anywhere near the mines, they will still get it. Rabbits are the only coop animals that can't reproduce. Juice and wine sold by the traveling cart will not have a specific fruit associated with it, like strawberry juice or ancient fruit wine. It'll just be a nameless brand. Radioactive Bars were the only bar that didn't have the 50% sell price boost until the 1.5.5 update fixed that. The Radioactive Bars referenced the California Proposition 65, saying instead of the standard thing, known by Zuzu City Safety Commission to cause irreversible bodily harm. Scarecrows will actually count the amount of crows it has scared off in its lifespan of being placed down. but if you break it and replace it, it will reset. The original name for Star Drops was actually Cosmic Fruit, according to this forum post from Concerned Day. He shared this trivia while helping someone with their game file. Nice guy. The bouncer we mentioned earlier will attempt to bomb the player if you try to sneak by him. The preserve jars claims it converts fruit into jam, but it actually makes jelly. And yes, they are different. Abigail at the Festival of Ice will prove she is a Calvin Hobbes fan when she calls her snowman a snow goon, which references this collection of comics, which, hey look, I actually own. Wowzers. If you've never fished before entering the Festival of Ice, you cannot catch trash for whatever reason. You can't escape scam callers even in Stardew Valley. If you buy telephone from Robin's shop, you can receive a scam call that goes as the following. You hear a robotic voice on the other end. Congratulations, you have a 10,000 G Joja rebate waiting for you. Please mail your credit card number to 133 N Gunjer Street, Zuzu City to receive your rebate. Clicking on Haley in her social portrait will cause her to pose like you were taking a picture. If you get the items required to make a life elixir by themselves instead of crafting them into a life elixir, it'll actually give you more energy but less life, as the name implies. You cannot use radioactive ammo in the slingshot, even though you can use it in every other ammo type and a bunch of other things as well. If you fill a fish pond with 10 crabs, Willy will somehow know and give you a pearl for whatever reason. Very nice, Willy. Floor 880 and below in the Skull Caverns, the Iridium bats that normally appear on level 50 will have double health and double damage and be tinted red. Very scary. We can't actually see where Willy sleeps, but this ladder at his shop hints that he sleeps upstairs. The bus works just long enough for you to revive in Stardew Valley, then it breaks down. You can choose between one of the 7 Stardew Valley farms, but back in the day, we didn't get to choose, we just got the standard one by default. Linus is actually the only NPC who will not think less of you if you dig through the trash can in front of him. In spring, the first 4 days have preset weather. Spring 1st, 2nd, and 4th will all be sunny, and the 3rd will always be rainy. From the 5th onward though, the weather will be random with the exception of like 3 or 4 days. It is not possible for it to rain on a festival day. The house at the very bottom left corner of the map sells various hats for different achievements in the game. For example, it sells a sombrero once you earn 10 million gold, and a blue bonnet once you've donated 40 items to the museum. The dwarf hat you can get looks very similar to the one worn by the actual dwarf in the game. Same with the wizard hat being similar to the one being worn by the actual wizard. The budget television is ironically 50 more gold than the floor one. We can see a typo in the ornamental fan description with exquisite being misspelled, and another typo on the golden relic. Should have followed I before E except after C. Even if you repeatedly dump water on a lit torch, it will stay lit. Even though the pina colada in real life is typically alcoholic, drinking it does not give the player the tipsy -1 speed debuff like the other alcoholic drinks. This wallpaper looks very similar to Minecraft. Certain days in summer, Mary Lewis will say that he likes blueberries. He does, in fact, like blueberries. There are 9 races in Stardew Valley. Humans, dwarves, shadow people, Junimos, fairies, elves, goblins, merpeople, and the tundra dwellers. If you enjoyed this video, go check out the video on screen right now about a challenge run and someone made 80 million gold in the very first Stardew Valley year. You will enjoy it and will find it interesting. Click it now.